Hello, so this is my review of Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This was published in 1958 and my edition is the Norton Critical Editions. In my edition, the book is actually only about 120 pages and the rest of the edition is all essays and interviews and really interesting articles that I think are very worthwhile to read. One in particular is An Image of Africa, which is an essay that Chinua Achebe wrote in response to Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness and explaining why Heart of Darkness is racist and bad. Things Fall Apart tells the story of our protagonist Okonkwo, and he is a very powerful man in his village in Nigeria. The village is an Igbo village and it is set in pre-colonial times. The story spans several years and it goes from pre-colonial time, the advent of colonization and how the colonizers affected the social structure in the village. We follow Okonkwo from his powerful position at the beginning to his fall from grace towards the end of the book. We see Okonkwo's relationships with his family as well as with the village as a whole. Also, this book deals a lot with the pre-colonial society of this Igbo village and how it changed after colonization. So this is the plot. First, I want to say that it's really important to place this book within its political circumstance. So it was published in 1958 and Chinua Achebe at the time noted that there were very bad depictions of Africa in literature and just in the media. There were two depictions of Africa. One was Africa as having no culture, as being a blank slate and therefore which justified colonization. The other as Africa as this utopia, this romantic ideal of what African society was. Many people think that Achebe's point was to show pre-colonial Igbo society in a very complex way, so dispelling the idea that it was a romantic time and also dispelling the idea that there was no culture before the colonizers came. Because of this and because of the themes that are dealt with, this book I find, and many other people believe, is a very important work of literature, both as a post-colonial work of literature and as a work of Nigerian literature. Interesting is that Achebe uses a lot of Western themes in this book, and he also of course uses English as the language to write this book in. What's interesting about this is that he takes the English language but he Africanizes it, so he adds a lot of Igbo words and he adds a lot of the Igbo folk tales and he really integrates the Igbo culture into the English so that it's no longer the English of the colonizer but a new type of English that is owned by the Igbo people and by Achebe. Some people have criticized Achebe for writing in English, and I'm going to leave below, if I can find it, an article he wrote on why he chooses to write in English, because it's definitely an interesting topic, how language figures in the post-colonial mindset, because a lot of post-colonial writers do write in English or French, which were the languages of the colonizers. Many of the post-colonial writers, this was their second language. However, a lot of other writers, for example, Ngugi wa Thiongo, wrote in his mother tongue after a certain period of time. So I think this is an interesting topic that could be explored further, so I'm going to link down below an article by Ngugi wa Thiongo. Something else that I really liked about this book was its discussion of masculinity and gender. So Okonkwo is a very manly man. He tries to really place himself as in direct opposition to who his father was. He views his father as feminine, as not being a powerful person, or associates him with women, and he views himself as he is constantly trying to be manly and constantly fighting against this idea that he might be like his father. And I find that's very interesting because he then places his ideas on his son, who he views as kind of worthless and feminine. His daughter Izima is also interesting because she is definitely his favorite of his children, and he really wishes that she was born a boy. Therefore, she would be able to rise to her full potential. Because she's a girl, she can't. I read a couple of Goodreads reviews that criticized this as being misogynistic, and while I agree that Okonkwo and the society was misogynistic, I don't think that Achebe is trying to condone the way that Okonkwo views the world. I think he's really trying to present Igbo society and its complexities, and if he were to change everything and make everything seem perfect and politically correct, I don't think that you would get as much of the message and it wouldn't be as powerful. So overall, I just find this book is a very worthwhile read if you are interested in Nigeria or in Africa, or if you're interested in post-colonial writing. I'm really looking forward to reading more of Chinua Achebe's works. He's written about 6 books and I'm hoping to read more of them soon. And if you guys have read this book, please let me know down below. I know a bunch of my Goodreads friends have read this book, and I want to know your opinion. If you completely disagree with me, please tell me so that we can have a nice discussion about this. And I'll see you guys soon.